Can daily audits of ventilator settings help to reduce ventilator-associated events? Joshua, Lancaster,
So in our hospital, we also were noticing an unexplainable increase in our ventilator-associated events. We are a lean institution, so we did multiple A3s on this. And did some PDCA cycles, and we looked into our head of bed elevation. We looked into our oral care frequency, how it was being done. Once we went through those processes and feel like we properly got that stuff under control, we still did not see a decrease in our VAEs. So what we did at that point is looked at them a little more closely and noticed that a lot of times the PEEP and FiO2 were not being dropped back down after a hypoxic event. Excuse me. So what we started doing is doing daily audits of the vent settings, and then when we could see that somebody was eligible or potentially triggering a VAE, we would go to the bedside, or what we like to call the GEMBA, and have conversations with the therapist, the nurse, and the provider at the bedside, and identify if this increase in the PEEP and FiO2 was still really necessary. So we didn't tell them what they should do, we simply provided the facts, and they used their clinical decisions at the bedside to determine if they could come back down. But using the algorithm from the CDC, we could actually tell them, you need to be at a PEEP of 8 by this time tomorrow, or you need to have your FiO2 down to this point by tomorrow. By doing that stuff, we empowered them to actually make those decisions and be able to meet what we call weaning with a goal. So that was the process and the approach that we had taken on this.
Any questions? I, for one, continually get confused with this alphabet soup. Could you remind us what VAE means versus VAC versus IVAC versus PE?
So the VAE is the umbrella term for the ventilator-associated events to describe the 3 different tiers of the supposed infections. Where the VAC or the VAC is when you have a PEEP or FiO2 increase, where your PEEP increases by 3 after 2 days of stability, and you maintain that for 2 more days. For the FiO2, it has to decrease by 20% for 2 days following 2 days of stability. Your IVAC and your PVAP are your true potentially infections. Your IVAC is classified as the increase in temperature or the decrease in temperature, along with an antimicrobial. And your PVAP is all that other stuff that you've already encountered with the VAC and the IVAC, plus confirmed antimicrobials. So not antimicrobials, once you have a sputum culture or something that confirms you have a bacteria or virus or something. So if you can prevent the VACs as potentially being those false positives that we were just talking about, if you can prevent the VAC, you don't progress to the IVAC and the PVAPs, which are the true infections.
Anything else? It's all completely clear now.
It's never clear. That's our conclusion.
So, just a question. So, I mean, obviously, we all struggle with VAE. Well, we still call them VAEs, but with the VAEs. So, was there any, you think, because you looked at all the other practices, nursing practices, the head of bed, oral care, all that kind of stuff. Do you think there was any effect those practices improved while you were looking at it? How it can affect?
I think everything improves once you're paying attention to it, and as you withdraw and you stop paying attention to it, you revert back to old practices. But we really felt that the real-time education that we were giving on, not just coming down on your FiO2 and your PEEP after these events, but actually saying, for the purpose of the VAEs, you need to reach this endpoint. And that's something we don't often do. We'll say, hey, wean for a SAT greater than 92. There's no endpoint on your PEEP and FiO2, at least at our institution. We weren't doing that. This enabled them a way to have a different way of thinking about that with a collaborative approach at the bedside.
Nice shot. Anyone else? All right, thank you.